Hi, it's Rick Dawson. Just wanted to do a short video here to show you how to use the software that you got today to process your list. Now, I had a student in Florida actually get a very good tax delinquent list. It was a list of all the properties that are about to go to tax deed sale but are not on the tax deed list yet. So he kind of got himself a head start of all the properties that are going to be on the tax deed list, but he's got the whole thing now. He got it right from the county. So he sent that to me, and it's right here. Let's open it up. Okay, so it looks like a pretty good list. It has the parcel ID number, the tax year, assessed value, owner, owner's address, along with the zip code, the amount due, and legal description. So pretty good list. That gives us almost everything we need. Now let's see how many are on here. There are 4,899 properties on this list. So once again, that is probably too many to just mail to. We're going to want to see if we can narrow down these properties a little bit so we can get the best list we can of maybe 500 or 1,000 to actually market to. So I'll show you how to do that with the software that you got today in a matter of minutes instead of pouring through this spreadsheet for hours and hours editing it down. Okay, so let's open up the software that you got so we can process that list I just showed you. This is just an Excel file which has a nice user-friendly format like this, and I believe you can run it on OpenOffice too if you don't have Excel. Now, the first step is to open our file, the one that we want to process. So let's open it up. We'll find where we have it saved on our computer. And I have it saved in here. And now we'll need to set up the file. The main thing is we'll need to tell the deed grabber program which columns have which data in it. Okay, so here's some instructions that you can read before you get started, but I'm going to go through it step by step with you now. Okay, so what we have to do is, again, show the deed grabber program where the data is in this spreadsheet so that it can process everything for us. So the first thing it wants to know is which columns contain the owner names. So this is a sample of the data we have in our spreadsheet, and if I look right here, I see this is the owner name column, and I see that the owner name is listed last name and then first name. So we're going to keep this button checked, last name currently first. And what the software is going to do is switch those names around for us so that it will say Rick Nelson, not Nelson Rick. It's much better for sending letters to have somebody's name properly formatted instead of backwards like that. And a lot of these county lists will have the last name first and then the first name. So we'll want the software to reverse that for us, and we've chosen the owner name column. We'll just click the set button. Now the next step is set the mailing address columns. Many times when you get a spreadsheet from the county, there are going to be many columns where the address is contained. It won't all just be in one column. So in this particular spreadsheet, it looks like there's 7 columns that have parts of the owner's mailing address. Okay, so we're going to select all of those, including the zip code column, and we'll click set. Now it wants to know which one contains the parcel number column, and that is right here. Set it. Set the assessed value column, and looking through I see the assessed value is right here. We'll choose that. Now this is going to want to know how we're going to want to filter the list by the assessed value. I usually like to cut out all the very low assessed value properties, because if we were able to do a deal on them, they wouldn't be worth much. So we just don't even want to bother marketing to them. And just for an example here, I'm going to set the minimum value that I want the properties to be at $10,000. So I just put 10. The blank here is measured in thousands. So I put 10 in there. Click set. Maximum value. Sometimes we want to cut out all the mansions on the list because we know we might not be able to do a deal with them with the resources that we have. So why don't we cut off the list at $100,000 assessed value? That will get rid of all the properties that are worth more than that. We'll set. Now it wants to know which column contains the taxes owed, and that is right here. Click Set. And finally, we can do a tax to value ratio filter on here too. In other words, we don't want to work on properties where the taxes owed are about as much as the property is worth. We want the taxes to be a small percentage of what the property is worth. So let's say I don't want to keep any properties where the taxes owed are more than 1/3 of what the value is, right? So if the value is $20,000, I don't want the taxes to be any higher than $6,600. So I'm going to put 33% in here. That means all the properties that are left will be worth at least 3 times as much as the taxes owed. And I'll click Set. And I'm all done, so I'll click the Done button. And now we'll process the file. And the first thing it's doing is getting rid of all the parcels that are outside the value range that we put in. We only wanted to keep parcels worth $10,000 to $100,000. Now it's reformatting all of the owner names. As you see, it's last name first. We want it to be listed as first name last. And it's going to attempt to keep the company names as is, because those are usually formatted correctly. And it's already done, but the other thing it's doing is getting all of the duplicate owner names out of there. If somebody owns 50 properties, we don't want to send 50 letters to that person. We want to consolidate all 50 of those properties into one row on there and only send the owner one letter. So let's review. That's step 4. Let's review what we have now. And we have another option here, which is to copy all of the duplicates over to a new sheet over here. We don't want to erase them probably, but we don't want to keep them in the list many times so that we send the owner many letters. So I'm going to copy to a new worksheet, and it just copied all of the duplicate properties over here to another worksheet. So we have that if we want to look it up. But now on this list, each name only appears one time. And now we can save our file and give it a new name, because we don't want to write over the original file. We probably want to keep that original file that we got, but we want to save our new file as, let's say, cert list 2007 processed. Then we know that's the one that was processed. And we'll save it. And we're all done. Let's open up that new processed file and see what it looks like.